And welcome back to In the Can. Right now we're going to talk about a world cinema documentary film that it looks amazing from the trailer. I can't wait to see it. We have the director, Rahul Jain, here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for getting up so early to chat with us. I'm assuming you're staying up late as well. Tell us a little bit about Machines, which is the name of the film that you brought here to Sundance.
It is a philosophical exploration of the meaning of labor in an Indian textile sweatshop.
And tell us what's in it about the factory, and you talk to the workers as well.
It's kind of like an accumulation of my own sense perceptions from my time when I was a young boy. I used to get access to a similar factory like this, and I just went back to capture those experiences from the child's perspective. But when I went back, I was more fascinated with the human beings working than the smell of chemicals or the torrent of colors.
And when I was watching the trailer, I couldn't tell if you were saying that it was the people that were the machines or if the machines were the machines.
Both, but that's what is for you to think about.
Because it's very thought-provoking. And before we go any further, because it's difficult to describe or to talk about the film without actually seeing what is there, I wanted you to take a look at this trailer from Machines. The trailer is, despite the subject matter, it's really beautiful. You shot it beautifully, made it beautiful to look at.
Yeah, if it wasn't so beautiful, it would really be easy to look away. And one of the reasons why it was made the way that it is because we do end up looking away from things that make us uncomfortable. It's like changing the channel. And I thought I'm getting the opportunity to curate this experience for people. I better go all the way.
Are you hoping to make change with this movie?
I don't know if films make direct change, but what they do is make you think. And if it can make people think, then I might be doing something right.
What kind of access did you have to the workers? It looked like they were pretty free to talk to you.
Well, I was connected because of distant familial relations with the family, with the factory owner, but the intimacy was established over a long period of time. And our strategy was to just go there without a camera for a couple of months and talk and tell everybody what we were trying to do. And I thought if I expect intimacy, I need to give that too. So.
And that's how you got the contractors to speak to you as well?
Yes.
So this film is under the new climate, the brand new climate programming here at Sundance. Do you think that it belongs there, and why? Or why not?
Well, there is certainly a lot of things about climate connected to consumerism. And they both are somehow linked together. So this is about the global economy in many ways. It's also about the meaning of labor. And by being about those things, it ends up being about the climate.
You grew up in this setting. It was familiar because of your family, which you said. Did you find that other people, though, who are not that familiar with the factory setting, found it difficult or uncomfortable to watch from talking to people because the movie screened a couple of days ago?
Yeah, it just depends on how curious you are about the other side, about the things that you don't need to be curious about, that you don't need to interact with, but you still question them, almost like from a child's perspective.
Which is what you were trying to do.
Yes.
Exactly. So this was your directorial debut. How was this number one on your mind, the subject matter? Was it the first thing that you wanted to do with your director career?
No, actually I was in school and I needed to show something for my midterms. So out of not having done anything, I just thought I need to make something that I know and I feel like, and that also might have an existential purpose, to just be out there in the world. So I wanted to use the privilege of filmmaking, which is a big one, and make it count.
Did the process or the final project change you at all? How did it affect you?
It certainly opened my eyes more, and it made me perhaps even a more empathic person at the end of the day. But it's only increased my determinism to make more work like this.
So continuing the same vein of the factories and the people, or going off in a different direction?
No, just continuing to work on things that really make me angry about the world, and things that I don't understand, and I'm still trying to understand how and why could this happen.
What was your family's reaction to the movie?
In the beginning, they were definitely like, you've never earned a penny in your life, you don't know what you're talking about. But the acknowledgement from the world outside has made them reconsider.
Have changes come? Do you anticipate changes coming to this one factory in a world of factories very similar to this one?
Yeah, I don't think so. One factory would change. I didn't make it for one factory to change. I'm kind of trying to highlight a more systemic issue or problem, which is actually very visible. So when people use the word expose for something like this, I think that's highly inaccurate, because you can't expose the sun. It's something that everybody knows and sees every day. You just choose to look away.
They see it, but they're not seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was the most surprising thing that you found, even though it was a familiar setting to you, while you were filming?
The presence of children, and also the fact that most people working there were convinced that unions are bad for them, which is propaganda, in my opinion. But yeah, when you're not educated and you work with other people, your support system, I mean, it kind of acts like a contagion. When one person tells you, oh, unions are bad, they're gonna mess up your life, it just carries on like a domino reaction.
Did your, you said you spent a lot of time getting to know these folks, getting the trust and the relationship. After the movie's over, then what? With them, with that relationship?
That is a very crucial element of the documentarian's relationship with their milieu and their environment. And I think the most they can make out of it is to keep making honest work. Of course, I mean, at some point of time, I would like to show the film where I shot it.
Mm.
And I hope that it can be received with openness, because that's the most difficult thing to do, to show a documentary film to the subject.
Right, because it has your slant on it and your interpretation. What do you think that their reaction would be?
It's really difficult to say. I have heard a lot that most people in this situation don't want to see this situation. They don't want to think about this. After 12 or 24 hours of work, they go back home and they just want to sink into bed and wait till next day's shift. So for them to be reminded of their own reality in such an aestheticized way can either be soul-crushing, or they could just ignore it, like, meh, we see this every day.
Yeah.
Show me something new, show me something entertaining.
Because you had the one worker say that he goes there by free will and he travels 1,600 kilometers to be there. So obviously he is one person, if he was telling you the truth, who is in there for the job and for the money to support his family. And how do you fight that? How do you argue with that? Is that considered a really good job, the factory job there?
Not really good from my perspective, but relativity is such a thing. From where these people come from, there are actually no jobs. PhDs are applying for dishwashing. So there's really no meter or spectrum where you can gauge how to normalize this, because like trade between many different countries of different socioeconomic powers, the states in India, inside the country, there is a huge disparity between the states even. So
hopefully you're going to make some change with this movie, at least open some eyes and force some people to see.
That's all I can hope for.
Sure. And the reaction from the theaters that have seen this movie so far has been good.
It's been a really overwhelming response. I really respect this place, because people are making an effort to acquaint themselves with a reality that is really far away from them. So it means that there is certainly curiosity out there, and people want to know what's happening in the world, and I think people want to be informed consumers.
Absolutely, absolutely. 2 more opportunities to see this movie during the week. So look it up if you can see it. That'd be fantastic, because it's definitely thought-provoking, machines. And we want to show you that Rahul brought a piece of artwork that is right here. It is absolutely beautiful. And he said he did not draw it, but he directed it. Yeah. So it's right here, and we will take the first person to email us here at Park City TV for the contest. We'll get a chance to have this and own it and put it on their own wall. There you can see the address right there. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for bringing your film and opening some eyes.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your festival. And we will be right back with more In the Can.